welcome to Fall in One. We are the media team, and today we are graced by our treasurer in the federation and also the MP. He's also an MP, so I would like him to introduce himself so that now you're able to be acquainted and to know him.
Basically I'm known as Hon Orero. That is the name that sells outside here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm called Mwalimu because I was a teacher for many years. So started as a teacher, then grew up to be a senior principal in this country. Mm-hmm. Yeah, taught in many schools in Nairobi. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm called Mwalimu Orero.
So allow me to call you Mwalimu then.
Yes. Call me Mwalimu.
Yeah. So Mwalimu.
Yes.
My first question to do today is if you can give us like a short story of your journey in the basketball community, like where you started, because as you were talking, you just informed me that you were once a player, you became a ref. Now, then you went to become the treasurer, then an MP. So if you can just give us a short highlight of your journey.
Yeah, basically played in school games. But I was involved in many games. I was a footballer, played basketball, volleyball, then I was also an athlete. So after college, I settled to specialize in different games. So one of the games that I specialized now was basketball, football and netball. So I went for training in my early years as a teacher, early 90s. I don't think I'm your age, you are not born, mate. So those early 90s, I was able to train as a basketball coach and basketball referee. Plus other games, football coach, football referee, netball coach, netball referee, and volleyball. So, but I picked basketball, football, and netball. Also to advance my career, I trained as a referee until I was a national referee. Officiated in the gym, basketball there for many years, for about 15 years before I retired as a referee. But now I ventured also in leadership positions. So started as a Nairobi secretary. I remember myself and Hon Orero. Yeah. We introduced the league in Nairobi.
Wow.
There was no basketball league in Nairobi.
The National Basketball Association?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but now the Nairobi branch did not have any league. Okay. So when we were elected in the office, we started the league with Hon Orero. Plus just a few clubs, I think 8. We started 6 clubs, and the 8, then it grew. Yeah. Until now they have almost 100 teams in the Nairobi basketball. Okay. So I ventured into leadership positions. So even as I was Nairobi secretary, I was still officiating in basketball. Okay. Then as we grew, then later on I decided to vie for the national post in basketball. Yeah, so later on became the treasurer of Kenya Basketball Federation. Okay,
so the fact that you've been the treasurer for 7 years, it's very commendable. So how have you been able to hold that position, and what so far have you done in the league to be able to maintain it and make it an open and transparent league?
I think throughout my years as a basketball treasurer, it's more than 7 years. Yeah, I've been elected there, I think 3 times as a basketball treasurer. 2 times unopposed. The first time I was very competitive, but I still won. And because I've been elected 3 times, 2 times the last one unopposed, it shows that the basketballers have a lot of faith and trust in me on how we manage the finances of basketball. Incidentally, this country, we've not had a serious sponsorship in basketball except for 1 year that we had a firm sponsored us. We rely mostly on the league fee from these teams and small sponsorship.
Okay.
But basically, the basketball has improved from where it was. We have so many of our players in the United States and other countries. And when they come to our national team, now they have raised the stakes of basketball in our national league. And I think the most competitive league, amateur league in Africa is the Kenya Basketball League. And also the league which has the highest number of teams in Africa, almost in the world, is Kenya. We have national, we have Division 1, we have Division 2. And basketball is played in this country almost more than any other country in Africa. And this is because of our open policies on basketball. We have allowed basketball to grow in all the areas. We are not limiting. When you go to the MTAs in Kayole, everywhere else, we have allowed people, so long as they are supporting basketball, we have allowed them to grow this game to the highest level. During our tenure, when we came to the office, I think we are the first office that took the under-18 national team to start competing in the U18 in Africa. We took the ladies, we took the men, they have been competing. We never had the U18 before. So during our tenure, we ventured and took our teams outside. From the U18, our current national team, all those players who are there, those guys, we started with them in the U18. We took them from high school and developed them. And by then, even the current Secretary General, we identified her from the school. She played for us. So during our tenure as the officials of basketball, we have done a lot in terms of basketball development. We have been bringing our players from outside the country to come and help our teams. We have been coordinating many other things. People do not know. Like when we have international assignments, sometimes the government has not released the money. The KBF never has a lot of money. Sometimes it forces us to go into our pockets to support some of these teams. Even the latest was U16. We took to Tanzania. We were waiting for sponsorship from the government, but because it was not there, we had to make sure that team goes. We had to hire a transport for them from here to Mombasa, from Mombasa to Dar, and make sure that they participate. So we have been in this game to support the game, not to really gain from this game. The best thing that we are doing to this game is to support that game to make it prosperous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, like you mentioned about the revenue collection, we have seen that KBF have been raising their funds either through gate collection when people are getting in to watch games, or team registration in the league, as well as government support. Are there any other ways that the league so far is considering or is pursuing to be able now to raise revenue for the league?
Of course, even the other time, during our last award ceremony, you saw Betika sponsor us a bit.
Yeah.
We have been looking for various sponsors, but basically, this country, the economic situation of this country, most of the games now do not have sponsorship. Long time, we used to have corporates having their teams and they were well sponsored. Like one of the greatest teams that we had was Posta. Posta employed quite a number of basketballers and they sponsored those basketballers. We had KPA, employed many players. You see, most of them now, they are on contract in KPA. They are not permanently employed. Yeah. So we had Cop Bank. When Cop Bank was playing with the Posta, it was a big game, and it died, Cop Bank, because of the financial situation within this country. So we used to have cooperatives sponsoring a league. Ulinzi was a great team, but because of the financial constraints, we rarely have such teams now. But the banks are again coming up, like Equity is coming up. The colleges are coming up with their sponsorship. So apart from the gate collection, apart from the government sponsorship, I must say the government, they have been sponsoring us very well, but they don't bring their money to the association. What they do, they sponsor the national teams. They pay directly, like if the players' allowance now, they don't give us the money. They pay directly to the players. When it is accommodation, they also pay directly to the hosting nation. When it is tickets, they buy directly to... so their sponsorship goes directly to help the national team, not the federation as such. So the government help us to run the national team, but most of the time you realize we put them on when we are in camp. Sometimes the government does not support that. We can put them in camp for a month. So it is us, the federation, who will support the camp. And this has really helped us also to develop the game. So what we are saying is that apart from gate collection, apart from the fee, we are looking for sponsors to come and support the game.
Okay, just a follow-up question. Does that mean that the money that you've been collecting so far, you do not use it on the league itself, you also use it on things that are to be done for the Kenya team?
Of course, it is not just money meant for the league. We use it for anything in basketball.
Oh.
Yeah, it is not just to support the league. Okay. And by the way, a lot of the money we collect goes to the payment of referees, because the budget of referees alone, this year we are paid 1.8 million just to support the referees. Every weekend, for the 2 days, we always have the bill of referee between 50 and 81,000 every weekend. Mm-hmm. So you can do your simple maths of how many weekends do we have and how many. And then the most interesting thing is that most of the clubs are self-sponsored. Now, these self-sponsored clubs have a lot of difficulties in raising revenue to pay for us participation fee. Mm-hmm. Like now we have a balance of about 700,000, which have not been paid by the self-sponsored team. Mm-hmm. But we cannot chase them away if we can still manage to run the league. And this is one of the ways to encourage participation within the league. Mm-hmm. Then we allow them to participate. Otherwise, we will not have teams in the Premier League. So we still encourage self-sponsored. Why? Because the corporates sometimes go under, they go down. And when they go under, it is this self-sponsored team that will help our league run. So we maintain them, even though sometimes they don't fully pay our league fees. But what do we do as Kenyans? The economic times is crazy.
Now, you've touched two things that were a question of today. So the first question is on the payment of the referees. We have seen that at times referees have refused to continue to ref games because they say they have not been paid. So is that a miscommunication from them, or is it true that these refs have not been paid for a while? That's why they weren't able to come and ref those games. And also, for you, do you think that the rate of 1,000 to 1,500 in these economic times is still a good rate to be paying these referees?
Basically, this is an agreement between the Federation and the Referees Association. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are referees who pay 1,500 per match. To us, it is how much do we raise as revenues to support the game. If we had enough revenue, and people would agree that we pay refs 5,000, who are we to refuse? I am a former referee. In many games, I was refereeing National League in football, National League basketball, National League netball. I'm one of the guys who ensured that even referees, we have referees association. It is during our time that we brought in a referees association, even coaches association. We made it open because initially they did not have an association. But we brought them on board so that they take care of their referees. Now, when I was officiating, we were being paid 25 shillings. In fact, they used to pay us 50. And as you officiate more games, it reduces from 50 to 30, from 30 to 20, like that. So we have improved this revenue. We have improved these payments of the referees every time, and we keep reviewing the payment of the referees. We talk to the chairman of the Referees Association and the secretary. We sit down with them and agree on the payment. So it is not something that comes from us as a federation. We sit down with them, look at the sources of the revenue, and also look at how much we can pay. We have so many games. If you were to pay 2,000, even that league fee, if the clubs agree, we raise it to 100,000 per team, it will suffice. But the clubs cannot afford. So we work within the parameter and within the framework of our ability in terms of financial constraints. You know what kind of assets and liabilities. We have assets and we have liabilities. Maybe we have more liabilities. But as we run the federation, what happens is that we used to have office, we used to have other things, but the government has been renovating the Nyayo National Stadium, where our offices are. And at the moment, we don't have a federation office at the stadium. We use our offices to run the federation, but hoping that we will get back our offices, our computers, and all that. But maybe we would say that as a federation, we are not entitled to own big things, because the federation is run by elected officials. We are not permanently employed there. So, but there are things that we use on a daily basis to run them. Those short clocks, when we buy them now, we really don't consider them as our assets, as the federation assets, but it is what we use to run the federation. We always engage with the media houses. Really, as a federation, sometimes we make our affairs quite open. It's very rare that we own a media team in this country, but we give opportunity to all media houses to cover our activities, and even that is why we are talking here.
Yeah.
Because we are free with the media houses. We have those who run our affairs online. Sometimes we don't even charge them, because we want to invite many people to see how basketball is run. So we have not been very mean on how we run our affairs. That is why we don't really, if we were to own a media team, we will exclude all the media houses, because we'll be selfish. We'll be guarding our own media. If you have a media like you guys, and you say this is now for the federation, then we'll exclude all other media houses. But we still have open door policy. We operate openly with all the media houses, and I think most of our games now are streamed online, and people can watch online our games. So I think this is a big step. It was never like this, but because you are Gen Zs, you did not know what used to happen before.
Yeah.
But if you were to ask, then you will get to know what happened before our time in the office.
Okay, let's go back now to the audit report. We have seen that the audit report is mostly used as a tool mostly for like investors. They're able now to see what is really running and to see on which area they need to invest.
So when you qualify an audit report, it means that it is not workable. So those terms you don't just use exchangeably like that. When you qualification of an audit report means that it is insolvent. It does not operate. When you say you qualify an audit report, it means that audit report cannot be tabled. Do you know that term qualification? Yes. So no, just go and do your research about auditing. You don't use that term that they qualify the audit report. No, when you qualify, it means that you do not agree with that audit report. That is the term used. So, and when it is qualified, it cannot be approved by AGM. Yeah.
So, if it's unqualified, does that mean now like the investors can actually use it?
Yes.
Now, don't you think that is something that now should be written, whether it's qualified or it's unqualified, for them to be able to know?
That is, go and read the opinion of the auditor.
So the opinion of the auditor is what now they'll use to determine whether it's qualified or unqualified.
Yes. So read the opinion of the auditor.
Okay, I think now that one you've answered. Then if we were to do on the receivables, that we have seen that there has been there have been cases of non-payment of venue points. In this case, we are talking of the Morans Lounge, which was used during the pandemic in 2020. And to date, they have not yet been paid.
Which Morans Lounge?
In Kiambu Road.
In Kiambu Road.
In 2020, Kiambu Road Morans Lounge was used by KBF to play games when other venues were not available. And there are pending payments dating back to 2020. They will be paid till date.
And also, when we look at the figure, it is also missing in the accounts payable. So, is it a case of misrepresentation, or was it an omission by the KBF?
You know, me, I only go by the audit report. If it is not in the audit report, which facts do you have to say? Did you read the contract between the KBF and the Moran Lounge? Did they have any contract Who took them there? So such a question, you need to come with, this is the contract we signed. Am I the one who signed it?
But as the KBF treasurer, shouldn't you be aware of such kind of an arrangement?
So if that happens, this is not the right place to solve it.
Of course.
Yeah. So you will not bring for me an Arena's question in the public to try and sort it out without having evidential background and the requirements. So that one I dismiss. Go to another question. It's a good suggestion. We have been looking at it. We had even the NBA. They had asked us if they could expand the Nyayo, if the government can allow the NBA. During the final games, we had representatives from NBA who agreed, who are trying to find out whether they can expand Nyayo. Kasarani is one of the best venues that we have. But sometimes, one, it's very far for the players. Two, the cost of playing at that stadium in a day, maybe it could be 100,000 per day. So sometimes also, we as a federation, is very expensive. Three, Nyayo is our major playing ground. And sometimes you would even never know how many people would attend that game. But for the last 2 years, we have been thinking, even during the finals, we have been thinking that the next time we could take them to Kasarani, especially when we have high level. During playoffs, high level games, we can always move them to Kasarani and see whether the fans can come and enjoy at Kasarani. It is within the premises of our consideration. So I think we look at it, we'll put it in the AGM and the team managers. If they agree, then who are we to refuse? Yeah. It also shows that the game has grown considerably. When you see fans, we had enough space to sit. So it means that the game has grown considerably. So we will look at that in this next coming week.
And lastly, the last one now, pertaining election. I don't know what your position are or what your position says about election. There were rumors that the election was supposed to be held before April of this year. Then again, no communication was made for the referendum. Do you have any information or can you tell us anything about the upcoming election?
It's good you have said rumors, so I don't respond to rumors. If you had the facts, I would respond to facts. So our term ends next year, after next year. So we are waiting for the term to end. We have always held elections regularly within the confines of the Sports Act and the Constitution of basketball. And most importantly, we operate within the constitutional order of this country. So we believe that when the time for election, it will be dissolved and people will vote. So let's wait for the election date.
Okay.
Other rumors,
Mheshimiwa, on a personal level, do you ever think that there is something that you'd give back to the community, like at your own personal level, like there's something you would do to give back to the basketball community or netball or volleyball, like at a personal level? Outside you being the treasurer, outside you being
the only thing I want you to do, go and do more research about myself as a person, what I have given back to the community, what I have given back to basketball, what I have done, I am giving back to the basketball. I am giving back to the society.
I want you to start a team and I need a coach.
Let me tell you, as a teacher, when I was a teacher, I had a team from high school that played up to the national level. The only team that has ever played at Premier League. When I moved to Upper Hill, again I had my team from Nairobi, won Division 1, won up to the Premier League. So I have had many teams, and even up to now I support many teams in the Premier League. Even the the self-sponsored team. If you go there, I support quite a number of them. I'm the one who pays for them their league fees. Yeah, so there are many things that I do to support basketball and also to give back to the community. Yeah, so there are many things.
Thank you so much.
You see, even when we were doing the awards, Petika only gave for the Premier League. The lower league, all those trophies, I bought all the medals for those lower leagues.
Wow.
Yeah, I can show you. I bought all the medals myself. So, but we don't talk about it. We have been doing that all the years because we are there to support basketball.
Ile tu kuleta the whole basketball community power. Think about it. Ni kama an example, when you come na end ya party kwa office. Basketball inapakwa na hiyo
Hii party, muite party. Huyu muite party. Party imemsumbua sana.
Yeah, so I'm grateful.
Thank you so much.
Allow me to join my committee.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Haya, pleasure.